I have a question for you. Do you know the love language of your team? Let's talk about it. I'm Adrian from Adrian's Avenue, and I bring you information that's rich, relatable, and relevant that you can use each day with your leadership skills. Let's jump right in. Now, I know some of you are saying, I don't even know my own love language. How would I know my team's love language? And I would challenge you to say, you do know your love language. You may not have expressed your love language openly, but you do know what you like and how you like to show appreciation to others. And it's just simply how you like to feel appreciated and how you like to give that appreciation to others is your love language. And there are 5 love languages that we will go over. The first one is words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Those are the 5 love languages, and we will discuss how they can relate to your team. And you say, why is this even important that we know love languages when it comes to our teams at work? And I would challenge you to say that the reason why you want to know the team's love language is that you can make a better and a greater connection with them if you know what they like and if you know how they like to give back to you. It's all about connecting with your team and just knowing them a little bit better, knowing them a little bit deeper. And this is one way of doing it. Your team overall has a love language, and each person on your team has a love language. You need to learn how they like to be appreciated, how they like to receive things, and how they like to give things back to you. And it'll just make that relationship between you and the team, as well as you and individuals, much, much stronger. The first love language we will discuss is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is simply telling someone how much you appreciate them. It could be verbally or it could be written when you do this. And so when you do this, basically you're telling them how much you appreciate them, but not only how much you appreciate them, but why you appreciate them. There is a difference in saying, John, you did a great job, as opposed to saying, John, I love the presentation you put on and how you went over point by point by point. Those are 2 different things. The second one is he knows specifically why you are appreciating him. And this is very important because once they know exactly why you're appreciating them, they will start doing that over and over again. So words of affirmation are very important. A couple of ways we can show words of affirmation is handwritten notes or handwritten cards. To give this to an individual, this is something that they can read over and over, and some of them even display it on their desk or in their workspace. But this is a great way of showing that you appreciate your employees, and so make sure that we are giving words of affirmation as a love language. The second one is acts of service. Now, acts of service, this is something that each team member can actually get involved with, and it is putting your work aside to help someone else, giving service in the team that you may sacrifice some of your own time for. What if you as a leader, after a team luncheon or a team function, you would actually stay in the room with some of the other team members, the cleanup crew, and help them clean up? This would be a great act of service, and it'll show that you're interested in the team and you're putting down your work aside as a leader, as a manager, to stay in the room and do something that you're expecting that your team members to do. So acts of service is a great way and a great love language that you can tap into with your team. The next love language that we'll discuss is receiving gifts. Now, you may be saying as a leader, why do I need to give my team gifts, or I don't have a budget for gifts? And that's not exactly what I'm talking about. It does not have to be a physical gift that you give the team, but this is something that even team members can participate in, such as giving tips on how to do your job better. That's like a gift, because if someone is not at the level where they need to be with production, but you give them a tip, or a team member gives them a tip that will help them get them to the place where they need to be in production, that is like receiving a gift. So team members can participate as well as you participate in this receiving gifts. There are some budget-friendly gifts that you as a leader can possibly consider. I know in our city we had a fast food place that once a week would have half-price drinks on, and this could be a 16-ounce drink or a 20-ounce drink, And normally the drinks were $1 or under when it was half price day. And my team absolutely loved these drinks. It would be sodas, it would be slushes. And so I would announce that morning that it's half price day and I'm going to buy drinks. And they would all put their order in. I would go out after lunch sometimes when in the afternoon when the energy level is kind of down, and go pick up the drinks and bring their drinks to them, and they would just love it. They would all be there on half price drink day. So these are some things that are budget friendly that even you as a leader can at least consider giving to your team as far as receiving gifts. The next love language that we'll discuss is quality time. And quality time doesn't necessarily require more of your time, but a better grade of your time. This is noticing things and giving more of yourself. If you're the expert in some area, you can talk more about that. That's quality time. That's a better level or deeper grade of yourself with that person. If you notice someone on the team that's not having a great day and you go ask them, how's it going? Are you feeling okay? That's quality time. If they respond, great. If they don't, that's fine too. The point is you asked the question, you cared enough to notice that there was a difference in that individual and you wanted to know a little bit more about how they were feeling that day. Quality time will put your personal touch on the matter. Quality time will also show you as an experienced leader. So these are some things that you want to keep in mind when it comes to quality time, and your team members will appreciate that extra touch that you're giving them while they're on your team. Before I get to the last love language, I would love for you to show your love for me and my love language of hitting that like button and that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you. The last love language is physical touch. Now, wait a minute before you run out, start hugging everyone. That's not what I'm talking about. When I talk about physical touch, when it comes to the team, I'm talking about getting to know them a little bit better, getting to know them on a personal level, such as sharing stories with them about you and your family, and maybe them sharing stories about them and their family, their pets, their hobbies, what they did that weekend. That right there, and not just talking about the work, but getting into a more personal level with them as far as what they want to share with you, of course. But this is the type of physical touch that I'm talking about when it comes to that love language. Well, there you have it. We've talked about 5 areas of love language that your team speaks to you and you can speak back to your team to help you build that relationship with them, make that connection even greater with your team. So go back through the video and see which one your team speaks to you. As I said, there are love languages on a personal basis, on an individual basis, that each of your team members will have how they like to receive appreciation and how they like to give it back to you. There are some folks on the team that love to bring you gifts, love to bring you food, but just the majority of the team is the type of love language that your team is speaking. And that's what you need to respond to, because it just makes the connection a lot better when you do that. So go back through the video and see which love language applies to your team and start giving in that way.